Congressman John Larson is facing stiff challenges from the GOP this year. Mark Zydanowicz will primary with Ann Brickley next month for the right to take on Larson come November and be part of what some are calling a chance for Republicans to take over some very coveted seats. Zydanowicz is perhaps best known here in Connecticut as the third generation to manage Guida's Milk and Ice Cream, one of New England's oldest independent dairies. He's been a member of the Connecticut National Guard since 1991, and he served in Iraq. He is a married father of 3. Mark, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to meet you. First of all, just tell us a little bit about growing up here in Connecticut.
Well, yeah, born and raised in New Britain and currently live in West Hartford. As you mentioned, worked at the Guida's Dairy for pretty much my whole life. Since I was 9 years old, my grandfather picked me up at the driveway and bring me down to the dairy, and I'd run the store at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay, so what made you want to transition from that success, because it's been a successful business, into the political arena?
Well, you know, I have 3 children of my own, and they are my special interest group. And I'm sitting here, country's at a crossroads, Connecticut's at a crossroads, the economy's dumping, and I figured I could either do something or vote in November or do nothing. I chose to do something and get involved.
But do something, running for U.S. Congress seems like kind of a big do something.
Sure, exactly. And if you're going to do it big, and that's where we can make some serious changes here for Connecticut and the district. So I thought it was the right choice, and it's the right time.
You know, we have a lot of business people come on, and they say that they've had success in business, which they think will translate into politics. But tell me why you think that will, because they seem like 2 different beasts to me.
Well, it really isn't, because I tell you, I walk in the very shoes of every small businessman out there and women, and quite honestly, that's the engine of America. That's what it's going to get back on our economy. It's not going to be larger government. It's not going to be 16,000 new IRS agents. What it's going to be is small businesses turning this country back on track, and that's why that experience really translates well for Congress.
So, for example, as you're watching our current Congress people in Washington talking about, I don't know, the budget or health care, what is it specifically? Can you give me an example of something that you look at and you think, why are we doing that? That's not going to help me out.
Well, if you look at the unemployment benefit that just was passed, you have to look at that. You can't. We just raised our debt ceiling again, and you have to have responsible spending. And there's people out there that do need the benefit. However, there's no cuts, so we keep raising the tax debt. The tax ceiling, and we need to lower that. And it cuts across the board. The economy's not going to get out of it by spending. We don't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem.
And I've told other candidates who've come on, this is kind of a very rapid fire because we only have a little bit of time. So we're going to move on. You're one of the few candidates with recent active military service. Tell me how you think that might help you serve.
Well, I went through a myriad. I joined in 1991. I was a private. I went to officer candidate school, became an officer, an engineer officer, and the leadership skills that translates very well to Congress or any job, business or anything. I sat at the table with diplomats in Iraq in the Green Zone, and I sat there with State Department, USAID, and military officials both from Iraq and Congress, not Congress, but from Iraq and the U.S. And I've sat there and I've at the negotiation tables, and so that translates very well actually, because you're going to need a strong person to go in there that's been there at those tables before.
Are you critical of the administration's plan to disengage, albeit slowly, in Afghanistan, for example?
Well, Afghanistan, we do need to have a plan, and General Petraeus is the one that's developing that plan. He wrote the book on COIN, which is counterinsurgency. So President Obama has actually supported his additional plan and funding. So we have to do it. We can't draw a line in the sand and pull out on July 1st, let's say. We need to listen to our general and our military leaders in order for the correct plan to pull out.
So does that frustrate you? Because, you know, I mean, I think a lot of people do say, let's just bring them home.
Yeah, it's not that easy. In fact, Obama said, you know, taking office, I'll have all our soldiers back in 6 months. It's really not that easy. We're planting the seeds of democracy. It didn't take this country 6 months to become a republic. It's not going to take them. We got to plant the seeds and we got to cultivate it.
Moving on to, as you watch this, you know, the cleanup in the Gulf. You're a farmer family, right? Dairy farmers.
Well, everyone has a misconception. We don't have any cows. We're a processor. So,
okay, but
we're very closely with the farmer.
What do you think, from an environmental standpoint, as you look at that and you look at the cleanup, and what do you think the role of Congress should be in the cleanup, and what do you think the responsibility of BP should be to the environment and to the businesses that have been adversely affected?
Sure. BP really owns the responsibility on that. We need to find out exactly what happened and put some triggers in place and let the other companies know for offshore drilling what exactly happened, so that those safeties are in place for future so the safe future drilling. We just can't stop it. But we also need to look at alternative fuels as well, to include nuclear.
What are you hearing from on the trail, from your constituents and from people who say, well, what are you going to do for me?
Well, you know, I'm getting positive responses everywhere I go. There was a straw poll out recently that I won, and that was overwhelming. So that was a great news for me. People are very receptive. They really do want change, and I believe in term limits as well. You know, you get the professional politician out of Washington, and you can bring some common sense and some real change, and go in there with young ideas and fresh ideas. And that's what I think Congress, that's what our forefathers really intended. And 12 years, I think, is a great term limit.
How much do you know about how things work in Washington, D.C.? I mean, do you think, I know you certainly have the will, but do you have the knowledge to make it work once you get down there, if you do?
Well, let me give you an example. I went and I trained 19 years, 18 years at that time, or 17 years, to go to Iraq. You train your entire military career to go over to Iraq. And we actually trained 3 months specifically on our mission. When we got there, it completely changed, and we had to get over that power curve, and you have to adapt, and you have to learn new things. And I'm a quick learner. You have to adapt every day in a business. Getting to know how the halls of Congress work, I think, will be you know, a process, but nonetheless, nothing overwhelming.
How is the dairy business?
We're surviving. We're the last, when my grandfather started in the business in 1947, there were like 60 dairies in a 20-mile radius that had a license to process milk. There's really 6 large ones in the Northeast now. So it's very competitive, but we're still in business. We're employing 277 people. We put 200 trucks on the road every day, you know, but it's still a fight every single day. Are
there things, for example, we always talk about how Connecticut perhaps is not business friendly. Are there things here in Connecticut happening that are making it difficult for your business to survive? Well,
sure. If you look at just what it costs energy-wise, our electricity bill and things like that, we're the second highest in the country behind Hawaii. Those things hurt. Our company runs on electricity with the refrigeration, the machines, like most companies. And I've run across a lot of businesses across the district that are having difficulties, well, even just not with the electrical bills and things, but with bureaucracy with this new administration. So it's difficult out there for businessmen, and we need to provide that environment for them to succeed in, because that's what's going to get us back, jobs and the economy. You
ready for the primary? You excited?
I am. I'm really excited, actually. I can't wait. It's been a great run so far. We've been going up and down the district, and I'm really excited, and I look forward to August 10th.
It's been everything you wished it would be?
Well, you know, I don't think I wished anything, to be quite honest, but it's been very, very rewarding. Meeting all the people across the 1st District and all the companies that I've visited, it has been really rewarding. And I actually really enjoy it. It's great opportunity to meet people.
Excellent. All right. His name is Mark Zydanowicz. He has a website, Z for Congress, and he is wanting to take the 1st District. Coming up, we are going to talk to the chairman of the GOP about the primaries ahead and maybe get some predictions.